All right, you are going to be working with subject-verb agreement today, and you're going to be using this page in your packet and just this first page. So, luckily, there are no notes to take. We are just going to be ripping the saw, cutting it out all the way around the outside, and then gluing the whole back side down. And these are our notes today. So, go ahead and cut it out. Pause if you need to while I'm cutting out and gluing also. Okay, so at the end it should look like this. Let me zoom out a little so you can see it. And then title is going to be exactly what it says at the top of the foldable. Subject Verb Agreement. Okay, go ahead and glue the whole back side down. Okay, now let's look at what we just cut out and glued in. So we know what the subject of the sentence is. That's who or what is doing the verb, or who or what the sentence is about. And then the verb is the action or the main being or doing that takes place in the sentence. Now, this is saying that a present tense verb must have a subject-verb agreement to make sense, which means both of these need to be in agreement with each other, okay? Obviously, agreement means that they are the same or they're equal, and let's see what that means. Now, rule number 1 says add S to most verbs if the subject is singular. So what this means, singular noun, let's write this on here, or singular subject, I should say, equals what we think of as a plural verb. Okay, and I'm going to put it in quotations here so that you can kind of see. Now, the verb is not plural, okay? More than one action can't be taking place. We don't pluralize verbs, but we can kind of think of them as plural because we're used to adding S onto nouns to make them plural. It's kind of what these verbs look like. Now, the singular subject will be one of them, but two verbs, or a plural verb. The dog walks down the street. See, we're not making the verb plural, okay? There's not more than one going on, but it's saying the dog walks. So one of these and what we think of as two of these. So if it's a singular subject, we add an S to the end of our verb, or we make it plural in quotation marks, okay? The hint here says if there is an S on the verb, you do not need one on the noun. So they have to be opposite of each other. Okay, now this one is the opposite. If you have a plural subject, so more than one, your verb cannot have an S at the end. If we were to look back and forth at these, I wouldn't say the dog walked down the street. I would say the dog walks down the street. Here I wouldn't say the dogs walks down the street. I would say the dogs walk down the street. So if there is an S at the end of your subject or your noun, your verb can't have an S. If there isn't an S at the end of your subject or your noun, your verb needs an S. So they have to be opposite of each other, and that's what means that they agree. Okay, now, down here, do not add S to if the subject, or to your verb, let's write this, to the verb, if the subject is I or you. So I wouldn't say, I walks the dog every day. You walks the dog on Tuesday. Okay, I or you will always have the singular, what we call or what we think of as singular verb. Okay, so subject-verb agreement, they kind of have to be opposites of each other. So I'm going to write this here. Which doesn't really make sense because the word agreement is that they're the same, but now we're saying they're the opposite. But I want you to kind of think of it in this mindset. One has to have an S, the other one doesn't, but it depends on if your subject or your noun is singular or plural. Okay, you're going to have a Google form attached to this assignment, so please go on and do that. I'm going to zoom out as far as I can, just so that you can get all the notes if you need them. So we didn't do anything down below. So I will show you the title, and then this is the last addition we added to this. So go ahead and pause here if you need to finish. Otherwise, let me know if you have any questions and complete the Google form.